Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to address this first Nigeria-Africa Investment Summit. It comes at a historic moment for the human family and for we Africans in particular. Science has delivered its verdict. The window to keep 1.5 degrees Celsius alive is closing fast. The main emitters have the responsibility to do more to reduce emissions now. We need to cut them by 45% this decade if we are to keep the 1.5 degrees Celsius goal within reach. But even without the severe emissions cuts we need, we are feeling the impacts of climate disruption right now, with half of humanity already in the danger zone. As Africans, but also as South Asians or Central and South Americans, we are 15 times more likely to die from extreme weather events. Having contributed the least to climate change, Africa is among the regions most exposed to its effects. And let us not forget that Africa is dynamic and growing and has ambitions for development as enshrined in Agenda 2063. It is important for Africa and the world that its progress and development is sustainable. Today, less than 50% of the population in sub-Saharan Africa has access to electricity, and around 900 million people lack access to clean cooking. Africa is the world's fastest growing continent and the youngest. Africa consumes 6.1% of global energy and produces around 4% of global greenhouse gas emissions. The way in which Africa develops will have significant implications for the world. It shows the urgent need for African countries to receive financial and technical support now to develop rapidly and sustainably. Let me share 3 priorities for the global community, in particular for main emitters who have the financial muscle to drive action. First, a plan to scale up and accelerate the energy transition and provide access to energy for everyone everywhere. The Secretary-General has recently made some concrete proposals, such as the diversification of the supply of components and raw materials for renewable energy-based transitions. Currently, supply chains and manufacturing are concentrated in a small handful of countries. Africa must become a production base for such components and raw material. It is well positioned to do so. Second, the management and shareholders of multilateral and regional development banks and development finance institutions must use their balance sheets creatively. This includes de-risking frameworks and allowing for more flexibility to scale up blended finance and ease the mobilization of private finance. Scaling up public and private finance and ensuring that the continent gets the investment it needs for its transition is an absolute priority. The African Climate COP, COP27 in Egypt, will hopefully deliver some concrete results on this issue. Third, as climate impacts worsen, we must invest in adaptation and building resilience to protect lives and livelihoods. This will require elevating adaptation action onto an equal footing with efforts to cut emissions, starting with the doubling of adaptation finance from 2019 levels, as promised in Glasgow by developed countries. This is why the Secretary-General has launched a major multilateral initiative to ensure that everyone, including every African, is covered by early warning systems within the next 5 years. But let me be clear, in the quest for emissions reduction and a speedy transition, the developmental priorities of the continent will not be sacrificed. African nations are demanding a just and equitable transition, and happy to see that Nigeria is leading the charge in defining, developing, advocating, and implementing a just energy transition. At COP26, President Muhammad Buhari announced Nigeria's ambition to be net zero by 2060 and called on partners in innovation and finance at scale to enable a stable transition. Nigeria and all other African nations must be supported within the confines of our climate targets to enjoy speedy economic development and to create a foundation for a just, green and sustainable transition. The United Nations will continue to support Nigeria, and I believe this is the dawn of African solutions developed by Africa for the attainment of African priorities. Thank you.